You're listening to Real Restaurant Radio, the show that inspires up-and-coming restaurant and bar owners, along with current operators, to pursue their passion in the restaurant business. I am your host, Kostas Lazanis, and I'm joined, as always, with my good friend, Carrie Hodson. Let us guide you through the process of being a successful owner and teach you how to make an impact in today's culinary world. Welcome back to another episode of Real Restaurant Radio. We took some time off, didn't we, Carrie?
Yep, we did.
You were gone.
You got that strong cup of coffee in me, man.
Yeah, I found this coffee. What was it called again?
Death Cup.
Death Cup, Death by Coffee, the world's strongest cup of coffee.
Something like that. Yeah.
Marketing. Finally, the coffee company is catching on to the craft beer industry, right? Mm-hmm. Well, hey, speaking of really clever craft beer, I got the Trojan Horse here. It's not a beer that you brewed, but I've been screaming for a Greek beer, and this is the closest Greek beer I can find. Barrel-aged barley wine.
It's a good one. 903 Breweries in Sherman.
Yeah. Jeremy?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Yeah, nice guy. I never met him, but we have a message back and forth. Mm-hmm. And, of course, we're going to pour it into the Intrinsic 3-year anniversary glass.
Yeah.
Man, one day you'll be at 5 years like me one day, Carrie.
I know. It's going to get to the point where... someone asks how old you are and you can't remember.
That's how I am. Like, year 4 is a blur, man. So you're working on year 3 right now, right? This will be all year 3 for you?
That was year 3.
Okay, so this will be all year 4. Year 4 is a blur.
Yeah, okay.
I think with year 4 with my restaurant, all I'm trying to do is just, refine and grow. And, now that I kind of know what I'm doing after 3 years, year 4 was how can I just get better at everything? That's
how I feel. I'm going to have a meeting with my managers and then eventually the whole staff. And because I don't expect a lot of growth, that'd be nice. But
year 4,
let's
I think
get real.
Year 4 was stagnant growth. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of flatlined year 4. Year 1 was good. Year 2 was 15-20% up. Year 3 was another 20-30% up.
Right.
And then year 4 was 3% up. I was like, what the heck?
What happened?
I know.
Well, you got to plan for that, and it's good. Gosh, the first year I had no idea what to expect, and so I'm actually. Enjoying the fact that I get to budget and plan. And then I guess our goals are going to be more efficiency and consistency related. How do we make sure all our food tastes like we want it to, no matter who's cooking it? How do we cut costs on, waste for one, and then just efficiency as far as staffing. If we have 4 extra guys cooking for a catering, than we need because we could have just prepared a little more the night before, then there goes all the profit. So,
well, cheers to 3 years, man.
Thank you.
You should really be happy that you're in business. I mean, that's the thing that we have to be humble and grateful for, is the fact that we're still actually in business.
What do you think?
I love a good barley wine.
Yeah, it has those nice dark cherry notes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, stouts, barley wines. I love all the big beers. So I've always been into the craft beer scene. So I've never really appreciated lagers. I know you like a nice, crisp, refreshing lager.
Sure.
But even in the summertime, I'm an IPA guy, it's got to be something big and juicy for me. I can't.
Full flavor.
Yeah, that's just me though. So
I'd rather drink a little bit of a lot of really good beers than a pitcher of
one
of the big guys.
Mm-hmm. We won't mention them here. Yeah, so that's it, man. Congratulations. Yeah, I actually was able to sneak out of the restaurant and make it over to the anniversary party. The place was popping over there at Intrinsic Smokehouse and Brewing Company.
Yeah, we finally broke our record.
Oh, for the biggest day ever? Mm-hmm. That was that day?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
So our biggest day previously, I think, was our opening day.
Sure.
And it's exciting and fun to think about that, but kind of looming over me.
Sure.
Why can't we reach that goal?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's amazing. I think I have a day like that, my all-time biggest selling day. I'm just how can I ever hit that number again? We just had calls coming in for large catering orders, and everything was just stacking up, everything all in one day. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. I was talking to our downtown coordinator, and it's a new position with the city, so she's going around trying to get just kind of some background information on all the businesses and their personal stories, and some generic questions she had as well, and one of them was, "What's your slowest time of the week or day?" And I told her Tuesdays, lunch, and she's like, "Are you okay with that?" I was like, "It doesn't matter if I'm okay with it or not." No, I'd like to be, gangbusters every minute.
Yeah, of course,
that's
of
not
course.
going to happen. So,
yeah, it's really tough. I think we spend a lot of time like trying to hedge to get people to come in on our slowest day. I know I do like a lot of like you have your happy hour and
$3 beer Wednesdays.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we have all those things like that. Today though, I wanted to talk about, and we talked about this a little bit before we started, was today's subject, the main topic was going to be talking about suppliers, contracts. What all does it take to run a restaurant? Like, who all do you partner with in terms of like support other businesses to run your restaurant?
To run a business, yeah.
Because before we get started, though, I wanted to say that like you're gonna have like 25 to 45 salesmen at your door telling you that their product is necessary for you to run a business. And as entrepreneurs and restaurant owners, we have to decide how much of that do we really need.
Right. Well, how much time do you want to spend trying to get the best deal too? Also, I think it's important to set up a kind of a filter system to train your staff to say you're not there.
But what for those new restaurant owners, when they're just there by themselves? Were you there? Do you remember that first few months everybody came to you?
Yeah.
And you're overwhelmed with all these salesmen that are going to try and get you to do things?
Well, about a year before we opened, I reached out to them. So maybe it'd be helpful to do that. I'm not sure how many restaurants
proactive. I like that.
Do that to help with. They'll help with menu design. They'll help with, and I don't mean just the piece of paper, but the actual ingredients going into the menu, and kind of set you up with a price sheet or order guide. So then you can take that and compare to other people, and then it boils down to service. It's not all about price. How much time are you spending running to 6 different stores?
Sure.
Do you have to go drag this, 2,000-pound cart through a warehouse of a walk-in?
He's talking about Restaurant Depot right now, by the way, guys. If you're listening, he's talking about Restaurant Depot.
And stack up all your food, and then maybe have someone go with you because you need 2 carts, and then you're loading your van, and then your van's down. You can't do any caterings. You're out, of course. It took half your day. So just kind of depends on.
So when you look at your bank sheet every month, and you look at all those automatic withdrawals. Like for instance, I have a pest control company that comes out once a month, and I feel like that's just a necessary part of the business is having a being proactive and having it sprayed. That way there's not just be on the offensive, because that's one of the worst things you can have at your restaurant is a cockroach. I hate to say that. It's like it's a bad word in our field here, right?
Right.
So you want to make sure like you don't have any pests at all in your business. Vinahood, I have a guy coming out for the Vinahood. You called me the day for the grease trap. So I mean, tons of vendors.
Linen service. Yeah, we broke down and started doing that about a year in.
Yeah.
We were washing all our own towels, and that got old really fast.
Sending people, and then somebody doesn't go to the laundromat or something like that. Exactly. Yeah, I use Aramark Linen Company, and they freaking had an auto renewal clause in there. So it was a 5-year contract with a 5-year auto renewal. If you did not do a handwritten letter 35 days in advance with a certified mail delivery.
5 years.
So be careful. That's a lesson that I've learned is
read your contracts.
read your contracts, and a lot of them will be fine print. So and now with today's technology, even bring a recorder with you when you're meeting the salesman. That way, if he does lie to you, you have that because it's all about what you can prove in court type thing.
Or at least follow up through email and write exactly what they said.
Yeah, everything's written and written. My sister's actually going through law school right now, and she talks about like it's not about what happened, it's about what you can prove. So having a casual conversation doesn't mean much at all.
Right. So I guess the takeaway is salespeople will promise you the world when they're in your restaurant to get your business, and then they'll figure out the details and hopefully provide you good service. But when things start going south or you want to switch, they can quickly stop answering their phone.
What's your biggest regrets as far as signing up for a company? Do you have any?
No.
So you've never made any mistakes?
I don't make a whole lot of switches. We've been with U.S. Foods the entire time.
But with anybody, with a grain company, with an electrician company, I mean, like anything at all, have you had any regrets maybe that our listeners could maybe learn from off the top of your head?
I think I'll find some of that this year as we're going into how can we be more efficient. We've tried to do that in the past where we are talking to a new meat vendor and we spend all this time testing their products and they say they can get, this price locked in for this type of meat from this part of the country for, the rest of the year. And then when we go to do it, they're like, oh yeah, we're not working with that slaughterhouse anymore. All we can get is this. And it's like, well, I just wasted all this time.
Yeah.
So I've been sticking with what works in a lot of ways. Like I said, it's going to be about, time versus cost.
Sure.
Every time.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to watch those costs. I think we get so caught up in recipes and marketing. Sometimes you have to be really a stickler on food costs and just the accounting part of the business, because if you let food costs run up, it can really hinder your business.
Yeah, and we clean our own hood still, so we don't have a service for that.
Okay.
Maybe someday I'll regret that.
my Vina hood is massive.
Uh-huh.
It used to be an old Chinese restaurant that I took over.
The big wok.
And it has the big wok Vina hoods. It's humongous. So my little char grill that produces a little bit of smoke and my little fryer, it's it gets sucked up into this huge Vina hood. So I actually only have to clean my Vina hood once a year. And I'll inspect it, but
pull down the filters and soak.
Yeah, well, yeah, we would do the filters once a month.
Okay.
But my guys do that in house. But we actually do have a professional company that comes out with a power sprayer and does the full detail cleaning once a year. Maybe if I was a higher volume restaurant, maybe I need it more often. I don't know.
Or more fried food.
Yeah, more fried food.
You don't do a whole lot of fried food, right?
Or the char grill, I think, was what really.
Oh, okay.
All that smoke from the grill. That's what really
dirties it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our I can't find anyone to do our smoker stack. So.
I was watching Mary Poppins yesterday. Maybe you have to get one of those chimney sweep guys.
I heard she's coming back, right?
Mary Poppins is back in style, guys.
Right.
Well, cool, man. Well, it's Christmas time right now, and the holidays are here. And that means that we should both be pretty busy this time of the year.
I hope so. The weather's looking great. Do you guys do any large corporate caterings, or have you done in the past?
Little stuff here and there. If you, actually on my YouTube channel, I just got done releasing 2 different videos. I did 2 kind of house parties, just for some nice affluent housing here in the DFW area, and we went there and we hosted 30 people. But when you have a private chef, you charge a little extra. So I go there as a private chef and do a little. I pretty much have everything par baked or par cooked at the restaurant, and just bring it there and heat it up in their oven, so they have that magical, feel.
If you can finish it with a torch or, plating and garnishing or in the oven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it. This is all for show. Throw a little rosemary sprig on top, make it look good. So yeah, that's that. And then I have another one this Friday. They want to do they're having a dinner party. So a lot of catering orders this time of the year.
Good. Yeah, we have those kind of corporate events where they shop around and some people choose the cheapest and some people you've developed a relationship with and they use you every year. So it's good, especially starting out, to make sure you get every detail right. You go the extra mile for customer service. You show up early. You set up. You're clean. You clean up.
That's all going to help you in year 2 and 3 and 4 because, like you just said, and I'm definitely can agree with that 100%. That repeat customer, because that phone call is going to come. And
referrals, they refer you to other people because people are looking for someone they can depend on. Because think about it, you're an office manager, and it's your job to plan this Christmas party for 100, 300 people, 1,000 people, and you're organizing pictures with Santa and gifts for the kids, and of course the food. And if the food sucks or doesn't show up, it's your job, you know. So they're really trusting you with their job as well. So if you make it easy on them, and it's just a call, like, can we repeat this order, or you know, they don't know how much meat per person. Some people try to order 100 pounds for 20 people, and you're like, no. You don't need that much.
I got to ask you a question on that. Do you spend a lot of time training your staff on that? Because that's one thing that I think I could improve on is letting my staff know how to handle a catering order.
We're working on it.
I'm working on it too. So I think that's something that I can definitely use room for improvement. And I actually did take an hour out of the day relatively recently, actually before the holiday season started up in October.
Just an hour? Wow.
Just an hour. I said, let's all sit down, guys, and let's go over the catering menu. Like 1 pound of meat, how many people does that feed, you know?
Right.
4 to 6 people. Mm-hmm. So if 12 people, they need 2 pounds of meat type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
depends on how many sides you have and how many meat choices you have.
And we talked through all that. Yeah, like, hey, if they're going to order 25 different sides, 1 pan of sides feeds 20 people. But if you're going to break that down, if you're going to order 10 sides, maybe you can stretch it out even further.
You're talking about like a half pan?
A full pan.
A full pan?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, say 20, 30 people. Mm-hmm. And you have to make those numbers out there. And then I just teach them how to talk to the guest. It can feed 20 to 30 people. I mean, are you feeding, 30 hungry lumberjacks, or you're feeding, 30, women who are, on a diet?
Right.
So,
and their kids, know.
Is it 30 kids or 30, so.
And what kind of plate are you using? That's a big difference for us, because if it's a 3-compartment plate and there's a choice of 2 meats and 4 sides, they're probably only going to get 2 sides.
Sure.
So those, you make half as much of those sides. Because there's that variety, with the exception of the more popular ones. People are going to eat more mac and cheese than, turnip greens, for instance. So as you get your rhythm, you kind of learn these things. But this year we're working on, as part of our efficiency, is a new language for what is a pan. How much food does it take to make this many servings, and like, what are the container sizes?
Give me an example.
Okay, so there's shallow pans, medium pans, full pans, half pans, third pans, deep pans, Do
you guys get all that? Because you're going to need to know these things.
Right.
You're going to need to know what a quarter pan is and what an eighth pan is.
Right.
A 16th pan, all these different things.
And when you're catering, you've got sometimes you only have a 6-foot table they're going to give you. Sometimes you have 10 tables. Sometimes they want 2 lines, food lines, 1 food line, service, buffet style, and so you end up having all this equipment.
Sure.
Which is why we built some storage out back, and you have a storage unit.
Yes.
And multiple vans. So you end up having these chafing dishes and warmers with the water pans, and you have to make sure you educate your staff the difference between a water pan and a food pan, because if they put the food in the water pan, then it won't fit in your hot box, it won't fit in the steam well, all these little things that when you get there, you have no tools to deal with them, so you got to get it right before you go out the door. So it becomes also a transportation issue. How can you maximize the amount of food in the smallest amount of space, and then easily replace that pan when it runs out? That sort of thing.
Carrie, I did FUTA for almost a full year.
Did you quit?
I quit.
Oh, gosh,
I quit.
That sounds like a nightmare.
But I was doing. You have to understand, I was feeding 100 people a day, 5 days a week.
Oh wow! Why'd you quit then?
Minimum. If it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. And they were taking 20% off the top.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I paid for my guys to get up in the morning, my staff was redline too. Like, when I mean redline, like, a car engine revved up to the red line, RPMs. Anyway, so I mean, the guy, my culinary staff was getting up at like 5 a.m. every day, Monday through Friday. I mean, I was making an extra $1,000 a month on it. The idea behind that concept, FUTA, is basically like if it's, you say you're in Chicago and your restaurant's like right downstairs, but you're going to all these different high-rise buildings all around you. Mm-hmm. These people that are eating lunch will go down to your restaurant because they had you for lunch in their office building. So it's a great marketing tool.
Right.
The thing is where we live out in East Dallas, we were always driving to North Dallas or north of Dallas and Plano and Frisco.
Addison.
And none of those customers would actually say, wow, the lunch was great. Let's go eat at the restaurant that night.
Right.
So I couldn't...
Too far.
I couldn't justify what I was doing as a marketing, tool.
Well, did you feel like the quality of your food changed?
It
going
did.
out there as well, or
I was selective on what I chose.
Sure. Like
so
fried food's not going to keep
exactly.
6
So
hours.
I did use all baked items. So I would say the quality of the food actually wasn't a factor.
Good.
Everyone really enjoyed it, and it was great. Like I was paying my employees. Like everybody was making money except for me, basically.
Okay. Well,
but it taught a lot. It trained my staff a lot to deal with like
problems on their own
and how to cater.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. No, that's great. I mean, I've spoken to some restaurants in the area. I think this year was really tough for restaurants. I wouldn't be surprised if some DFW restaurants closed with all the rain in June and July, and then October was a wash. We were, I think, in the third episode talking about, it's finally fall on patio. I'm gonna make.
We got excited, didn't we? It rained out.
It rained every weekend. As a business owner, sometimes a business owner operator, restaurant owner operator, if times are down, sometimes you want to keep your good employees, your good chefs, the people who've been with you for a long time, and so you got to do some of those things to make sure that you can pay them and keep them on the payroll,
sure.
Whether or not it makes you.
I want to ask you,
money.
How are you enjoying? Speaking of that, how are you enjoying the online services? Is that keeping you busy?
Well, we're just doing the Grubhub. We're looking into Uber Eats probably after the first of the year for the volume. Grubhub's kind of slow.
They just deposited $2,000 in my account the other day. It felt good.
Grubhub?
No, Uber Eats.
Okay.
Uber Eats. $1,800. Yeah.
Cool.
So I was like, I'll take that money.
The guys are getting used to it. Every time it dings, they use some explicit words and.
Yeah, that's my staff too.
It's like, guys,
my servers are like, I don't get paid to bag up Uber Eats orders. I get paid to wait tables. I'm like, no, you're very humble that you got a job right now, and like you should be grateful that you live in America. Like, come on, like we're all in this together. Like,
keeps the lights on, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and that's what I tell the staff is like, every single order that goes out, we put a menu in there and we put a buy one entree, get one half off, dine in only.
So they come in.
Come in and guess who wins? You win because you're gonna get a tip off the table that they ate.
Right.
So
Right.
think about it that way. Look at the long game.
It's my job to bring in customers. It's your job to take care of them, and we try to help each other out. And the way that they can help you market your business is to put those orders together and make sure they get it right and make sure they have menus in there.
Yeah. So definitely do that. I think anytime you do something special, go to Roberto. We both use the same printer, and have him make something special for you to put in those to-go bags. Because you're marketing directly to those people that actually like your food. It's not blind marketing, know.
Right. And put some effort in getting some good photography, because people shopping online are shopping with their eyes.
Yeah.
It's gotten a little weird lately. We've gotten some people come in and they say they're with Grubhub and they have the Grubhub bag and they show me an order on their phone, but it hasn't come through our system. And they're like, well, but I'm going to pay for it now.
Oh, with their Grubhub credit card?
So they didn't have a Grubhub credit card.
Huh.
So we did
Maybe
it
they're just
and
cutting
printed
the
out their
line.
receipt and sent it to Grubhub, and they're like, we do not do that. All payments go through the back end.
Learning curve, learning pains.
Okay. And then yesterday, someone came up and pretty much said, here, we want to order this. And we were like, are you with Grubhub? And he goes, no, I'm with DoorDash. It's like, we're not signed up with DoorDash. So does DoorDash just let you go anywhere?
So I heard actually that there's
Favor?
No, there's a new scam. I think that people are doing that.
So what's the
I
scam?
I got scammed too.
He's paying for it.
Oh, he actually paid for it?
I looked at his card. It didn't have a name on it. It just said Delish and then like a bunch of numbers. And he said Grubhub or DoorDash gives him that card to pay for the customer's food. And DoorDash pays for it, and the customer pays DoorDash. And it's for anywhere. Like he can go anywhere instead of just a restaurant who signed up with them.
Well, I'm glad you were there to figure that out because I
don't know if it's true or not. I mean, it was $28 or something, and if it is a scam, I'll take that risk right now. But I'm really confused, so I'm gonna have to call DoorDash now and figure it out.
That's the problem with these online companies, even with food as well. It's like, yeah, we served 100 people, but then like, they paid at the kiosk in the front because it's like a big like buffet like.
You have to use their register system,
yeah,
right?
And it's like, how do you know that somebody didn't take the food and then did like it's like almost like an honor system? And why do I get, bashed for that? And then even with Uber Eats, it's like when a customer complains, "Hey, I didn't get that," I'm like, I personally, as the owner of the restaurant, I personally put that side of sauce in that bag.
Right.
Like, did the delivery driver like drop it? Like, did it fall out, or did the customer just not realize that sauce was in the bag?
At the end of the day, you have to take care of your customer and give them the benefit of the doubt that they're not scamming you. I mean, if they call and they try to order, we get a lot of this. They try to, make a catering order, but they want you to charge their credit card for their party bus, and then you'll pay them the money, and it's no.
Are you talking about Matt Dixon right now?
No.
The party bus and catering. I don't know.
No.
That's so funny. But anyway. It's all. We started off talking about vendors, but now we're talking about online ordering.
They're a vendor.
They're a vendor.
They're a vendor.
I tell you what, though, it's a game changer, and kudos to them because they're making millions of dollars by doing nothing, basically.
Right.
So
hopefully they're providing a service.
I mean, they're providing a service, but
right. So tell me about your. How do you get all your food, all the things that you need to run your restaurant?
All my food products. Mm-hmm. I mean, I go to Restaurant Depot.
Okay.
As much as I can. I mean, Restaurant Depot. There's a reason why it's so hard to get that food. Like,
what is Restaurant Depot?
Restaurant Depot is a company, a food company, a national food company. You should probably find it anywhere you're located at in the United States. And basically, you go there, and it's almost like going to Walmart, but like for restaurants.
I think of it as like a Sam's Club or a Costco for restaurants.
Yeah, Sam's Club or a Costco for restaurants.
Right. And
you literally go in there and physically lift up the items. This is like more guerrilla warfare.
Instead of a
this
brisket,
is mom and pop.
it's a case of brisket.
Yeah, this is mom and pop, like small restaurant. They give you the best value for your time, but the fact is you have to drive up there and grab it.
That's always been my problem with them. You can't. I mean, you said you could call ahead and order, and they'll have it ready for you. But how is it accurate?
It is accurate, and I've been doing that. But now they canceled that.
Are they? I mean, do they always have all the same items? Are they consistent with that?
They do. I mean, they haven't had any problems with it at all. Restaurant Depot. I've enjoyed them, and I'm really sad that they're doing this new system. Which I have to tell you about that in the next podcast because it turns out we're actually running out of time over here, Mr. Carey.
Okay, sorry.
We started talking. Carey hasn't even had a sip of his beer yet.
I had 2 sips.
What else, Carey?
I don't know. You said we're out of time.
We got 2 minutes. Let's wrap up this episode. Is this episode 9 or 10? I'm not sure what it is. Biggest takeaways.
Man, putting me on the spot. Just be mindful of who you're working with. If you trust your gut, if you get a good feel for the salesperson and they've been with the company for a long time, trust them to treat you right. And then you just keep tabs on them and don't be afraid to say, hey, I can get this at this location for this price. Can you work on the pricing of these things for me? And sometimes they'll charge you a little more for your paper goods so they can drop the price on what you use the most, like your meats or pastas or whatever you're doing. But it's not just that salesperson doesn't have a set price. They have tiers of pricing.
Sure.
And so let them know that and that you're looking for a long-term relationship and that you're going to be a good customer, and then be a good customer and they'll hopefully hold up their end of the bargain.
There you go. Well, as always, thanks again for listening to Real Restaurant Radio. You can always email us, Kostas at realrestaurantradio.com. Or Carey.
Do I have an email
address? Yeah, you do. Carey at Real Restaurant Radio. And as always, we'll see you guys again in the next episode of Real Restaurant Radio. Thanks for listening, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Right. Like, I was listening to some of the other ones. You're sending like, well, so things sorry. It's not, I mean, it's because you're trying to...
Okay, cool. We're recording here too, huh?
get a